Chapter 1. 5,000 Years of Key Refining. In the mountainous regions of northwest Waxia, the area resembled a primitive land with no roads, no vehicles, and hardly any signs of human life. Amidst the surrounding mountains lay a lone thatched house. Outside, the open space was filled with medicinal herbs, their fragrance drifting with the breeze, adding a touch of vitality to the desolation. Inside, the room was small, simple, and quiet. A single bed and a cluttered desk occupied the space. The desk was piled with books and sheets of herbal recipes, while the faint scent of paper and herbs lingered in the air. On the bed lay an elderly man with white hair and beard, his eyes closed in eternal rest, his face tranquil and at peace. Beside him sat a young man, seemingly 17 or 18 years old, his appearance at odds with the centuries of wisdom, reflected in his calm demeanor. "Little Shia, I envy you. 81 years was enough for you to live and leave peacefully," Fang Yu said softly, his lips curving into a faint smile. His gaze, however, betrayed a deep sense of weariness. "Sigh, I'm not so lucky. Who knows how much longer I'll be stuck like this." Fang Yu exhaled, his tone a mix of self-mockery and resignation. Nearly 5,000 years had passed since he embarked on the path of cultivation. In all that time, Fang Yu had remained alive, yet stuck in the most basic stage of cultivation, the key refining stage. Yes, the key refining stage. A level so foundational that it wasn't even considered a true realm. It was merely a period for physical refinement, a preparatory phase. Only after reaching the foundation establishment stage could one truly step onto the path of immortality. But for some inexplicable reason, Fang Yu had been trapped in key refining for nearly 5 millennia. Despite consuming tens of thousands of foundation establishment pills, none had any effect. In the beginning, his master comforted him, suggesting that his spiritual roots were too extraordinary and required more time to temper. But after 1,000 years passed without progress, even his master began to doubt if Fang Yu was an anomaly, perhaps even a mortal, with no spiritual roots at all. Yet, how could a mortal live for over 1,000 years without showing any signs of aging? His master eventually transcended the tribulation and ascended to immortality, leaving Fang Yu behind on Earth. After that, no one cared about his cultivation realm anymore. As Earth's spiritual energy resources dwindled over the centuries, Fang Yu's desire for advancement became an obsession. Breaking through the key refining stage was his only goal. To this day, he had reached the 9,832nd layer of key refining. For most cultivators, the 12th layer was sufficient to advance to the foundation establishment stage. Thinking about this absurd journey, Fang Yu shook his head and stood up. He glanced at the sheets of herbal recipes on the desk and muttered with a wry smile. "If I'd known you'd become such a herb enthusiast, I wouldn't have taught you medicine back then." Honoring Shia Shu's last wish, he began organizing the herbal recipes. He had just started when distant footsteps reached his ears. Fang Yu frowned slightly and looked out the window. In such a remote and secluded place, someone had still managed to find the house. 10 minutes later, a group of 7 people appeared outside. Among them were a young man and woman, an elderly man in a wheelchair, and 4 burly bodyguards in suits. The elderly man's pale complexion and aura of death made their purpose clear. They were seeking medical help. "Divine Dr. Shia, greetings. My name is Tong Feng. We come from the Tang family in Jiangnan, and humbly seek your aid for my—" The young man stepped forward, his voice full of urgency. Fang Yu opened a door and interrupted him. "You're too late. Yazoo passed away not long ago." "What?" The group froze in disbelief. "The divine doctor is dead." Tang Fang's voice trembled as his face turned pale. For months, the Tang family had expended every resource to locate Shia Zhu, the reclusive healer, only to hear this devastating news upon finding him. "How could this be? We just found him." "No, he must be avoiding us," the young woman cried out, her delicate features filled with desperation. "Yes, he must still be here." Tang Feng's voice grew louder as he barged into the house. Inside, Shia Zhu lay peacefully on the bed, his breathing forever stilled. Tong Feng staggered back, his hopes shattered. How could this be? "I already told you. Shia Zhu has passed away. You may leave now," Fang Yu said, his tone calm but firm. Tang Feng suddenly turned to Fang Yu with desperate determination. "You must be his apprentice. Please save my grandfather. Name your price, and we'll pay it." Fang Yu shook his head. "I'm not his apprentice, just an old friend." "An old friend?" Fang Yu appeared to be under 20, while Shia Zhu was over 80. The idea of them being old friends seemed absurd, but no one had the presence of mind to question it. Elder Temps, seated in his wheelchair, sighed deeply. "It seems the heavens have decided my fate. There's no need to struggle further." The young woman broke into tears as despair engulfed the group. Fang Yu frowned slightly and suddenly said, "You've lived 73 years. Isn't that enough? Why struggle to live longer?" The question stunned everyone. Enough? Who would feel they've lived enough? Tang Feng shouted angrily and threw a punch at Fang Yu. Without moving an inch, Fang Yu sent Thames Feng flying backward with an invisible force. Everyone gasped in shock. "Mr. Fang," Elder Tang said, his voice shaking. "May I ask your name?" "Fang Yu." Elder Thames nodded. "I only wish to stay with my family, to watch my grandchildren grow. That is why I struggle to live." Fang Yu's expression softened briefly. For mortals, family was everything, a far cry from his endless solitude. "You have 3 months left. Treasure them," Fang Yu said, before turning back into the house and shutting the door. The Tang family was left in a daze. How could Fang Yu immediately recognize Elder Tang's condition? And how could he know, just like the doctors, that Elder Temps had less than 3 months left to live? He truly was the divine doctor's apprentice. Realizing this, Tang Feng knocked on the door again, shouting, "Mr. Fang, you must be the divine doctor's apprentice. Please, I beg you, treat my grandfather. We'll pay any price you want. Life and death are determined by fate. Leave now, or don't blame me for being unkind." Fang Yu's calm voice came from within. "Doctors are supposed to have compassion. How can you just stand by and watch someone die?" Tang Feng shouted in anger. "Fenger, come back," Elder Temp called out. "Grandpa." Tang Feng's eyes were red as he turned to look at his grandfather. The young man is right. Life and death are matters of fate. If the heavens want me dead, then so be it. "Let's go," Elder Temp said. "Young man, I hold great respect for Mr. Sh. I deeply respect Elder Shia, but I didn't expect that he had already passed away. I apologize for disturbing him today, and hope his spirit will not blame us for this intrusion," Elder Temps said sincerely. With that, he led his group away. Though reluctant, Tang Feng followed his grandfather's orders. On the way back, the atmosphere was somber. Tang Feng noticed his sister deep in thought and frowned. "Xiaoru, what are you thinking?" Tang Xiaoru furrowed her brows and murmured, "I feel like I've seen this Fang Yu somewhere before." "That's impossible. This is our first time in the Northwest. How could you have met him?" Tang Feng said. "You're right, but I really feel like he looks familiar," Thames Xiaoru said, rubbing her temples. Tang Feng, upset, ignored her, assuming she was mistaken. But after walking a few more steps, Tang Xiaoru suddenly stopped. "I remember now. I've seen him at school."